And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And do you remember, like, it was probably 3 months ago, we met our long-lost brother.
Yes, we did.
We did. And 3 months from now, we haven't heard from him forever. I mean, he's probably under a bridge somewhere.
Being homeless?
Being homeless.
That's because of what we did to him?
Because of what we did to him, yeah. I mean, we kind of chucked him out the window and said goodbye and stole all his money. And
well, I don't think we stole any of his money, but
we built a horrible car.
The Homer. We built the Homer.
Yeah. But what we did is we reached out through several contacts and we got the Simpsons Man back to help us build another amazing product that could hopefully get him out of the hobo life. And
I'm still here.
Oh,
I'm just hanging out under the bridge still, but I'm still here.
Perfect. All right. Well, welcome, Simpson Man, back to the Simpsons Did It podcast.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me back.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun last time, so why not do it again?
Sure.
Yeah, I know. My
thoughts exactly.
Yeah, at the end, I know you felt disappointed at the Homer, but you know,
who's not disappointed in the Homer?
I mean, I thought personally it was a great vehicle. I mean, it played Lou Cucaracha. Who doesn't like a car that plays Lou Cucaracha?
Yep, exactly.
So we are on the season finale of season 3. It is episode 24. Brother, can you spare 2 dimes? No, I can't. Not in this economy. I can't spare 2 dimes.
Well, it is really funny, and I think we'll kind of get into it. But the last 4 episodes of The Simpsons, we were kind of talking about where the hell Homer gets all his money from.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in this episode, you're like, well, okay, I get that, Homer gets money, and we'll explain how he gets it to give to her. But once again, I feel like Homer should be saving some of this money. He shouldn't be out spending it on fruitless endeavors.
No, but look at his house, though.
Yeah, he's
got to be rich.
Right?
Yeah. There was an episode where we did the pan up through the floor and there was all that gold and necklaces and all that stuff.
But we've also seen his paycheck. So, one of the best theories is, he's making money somewhere else somehow because we've seen his paycheck on an episode and it was I think it was like $300 or something ridiculously low. And even if he was getting paid weekly, he's got to be having another source of income somewhere.
Well, we do learn that Homer, I mean, we just did Colonel Homer, so he was helping Lurleen, and
so he got paid out from that.
Well, I think it was just $50 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he sold Lurleen's contract for $50.
How much did he make as dancing Homer? Think he made anything off of that?
So that's the theory. All his side jobs and all his guest appearances, if you want to call them dancing Homer and stuff, he's got to be making money doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this episode aired August 27th of 1992. And so I know Steve and I had talked about this because you had asked me, why is it so late? The reason that this aired in August was it was supposed to be the season 4 premiere. But then I don't know if it was Fox or The Simpsons or a combination. They're like, no, let's use this episode to promote season 4.
Which
actually,
yeah, go ahead.
I actually looked it up whenever you guys said, "Hey, do you want to be on the show?" And I was like, "All right, let me go on."
Yeah.
I think I went on Google just to kind of look it up, so I could pull it up on Disney Plus. And it's actually different on if you were to Google it versus if you were to look on Disney Plus, because they took. I mean, you guys already know this, but since they took the Michael Jackson episode of season 3, number 1, they just kind of shifted all the episodes down. So on Disney Plus, it's only episode 23, and that's where the season ends. And I was just like, it's kind of funny because Google still has it listed as 24.
Yep, because Disney just wanted to wipe Michael Jackson off the face of the earth.
Hey,
Which, come on, that's a great episode.
They're doing it with Mr. Potato Head too. And everything else. So we're not getting into that, but they're stripping down some episodes for sure.
Yeah.
So the chalkboard gag this week, Bart wrote, "I will not fake seizures."
I'm guessing he wanted to get out of another test.
I actually tried looking into that to see if there was anything weird behind it, and that's the only thing I could find too. Is he just trying to make up an excuse to get out of something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of weird to say you faked a I mean, I guess kids could see seizures and figure out a good way to do it. Do you think Bart like had an Alka-Seltzer in his mouth too and started foaming at the mouth to make it a little bit more realistic?
He might have, or I actually thought about that, the Krusty O's. I might have been the Jagged O episode. I thought about that, and I was like, he said like, "Oh, my ovaries," or something like that. And I was just like, well, that's the only thing I could relate it to, because if that's what I thought about, like, okay, he's obviously trying to get out of a test or something.
Yeah.
But in that case, he was actually telling the truth. The seizure thing, probably not.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I didn't even think about that, but yeah. I'm sure he said something stupid too, like, "Oh, my ovaries."
Yep.
I'm sure he did.
And we got our normal, Simpsons open with a different Lisa saxophone. And I do want to bring this up. I happened to catch a rerun of The Simpsons of a newer episode where Lisa actually comes back through the door to keep playing. And I don't think I've noticed that yet, correct?
Oh, right. Yeah, she hasn't.
No.
I don't think she's done that yet.
Okay. So I kind of want to see when they start doing that, because that's a difference between now and later seasons. So the couch gag this week, The Simpsons cartwheel onto the couch. And this is a repeat from I Married Marge.
Yeah.
Is it the only time they've repeated it? Because I feel like they've done that one before.
It's possible this is a second repeat, I guess. The second time they repeat
how
it.
old it is.
Yeah.
I know this is the second time in this season they've done this. So if they did it in season 1 or season 2.
Nope, they've only repeated it one other time.
Okay.
Because I know someone on Reddit posted like a couch gag thing from The Simpsons, and like they just showed like how many ones had been repeated and like which ones, and I'm kind of curious now. But if you said only 3, that sounds about right.
No, so the cartwheel one was only done twice. There was one like when the family rushes in and they land on the couch and it crashes through the floor. That one was done 4 times as a repeat.
Okay.
So there's certain ones, and I mean you kind of get into almost probably season 5 or 6 when they stop repeating and they're all just regular, like one a week. But for the first, but for the first like 3-4 seasons, they repeated 2 or 3 times.
Yep. Yeah, it was just easy for them to piece them together. But now, especially like with the newer seasons, I know a lot of people don't like watching them, but with the newer seasons, they get all sorts of artists, and it's like pretty much like an art piece every time they do like a couch gag versus them just running and sitting down.
Yep. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I mean, all the cool ones. I mean, they did a Rick and Morty one. They did Futurama, Family Guy.
I think they did an Adventure Time one.
Yeah.
Yep, they did that too.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool to change it up a little bit and add some new stuff. So the scene the first scene opens. Annual plant physical. No jokes.
Oh my god. Isn't there another episode where they do a physical? Or no, that was the dental plan one where they drop the pencil in Homer's pants.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like how they're all waiting in line for the physical, and then Lenny shows up naked because he forgot about the physical. I feel like he would have showed up fully clothed and forgot about the physical. So unless Lenny's walking around the plant completely nude.
Well,
I feel like he got out of the shower, didn't he?
Yeah, or he doesn't wear underwear. That could be a thing for Lenny. Like he just goes commando all the time. So if they had to go through that physical line, they tell all the guys or gals to drop down in your underwear. And since he didn't have underwear on at the time, he just had to go fully naked.
That's pretty funny, and I like how
Homer does look down at him. I think like once or twice. Too, you notice that when you watch, like he's definitely checking out it, just whatever. But like he's looking at him.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Then Lenny asks Homer if he could borrow his underpants. I would think it would be like 3 Lennys to fit in Homer's underpants.
Probably
easily. Just
also that's
2 Lennys
gross.
per leg.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Also, that would be really gross to borrow underwear.
Yeah, if he needed to borrow his pants or something, but his underwear, no thanks.
Ugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to borrow Homer's underwear. Now, The other weird thing about the scene is I don't think most companies, if they are going to do physicals, would have everyone line up.
No.
I think it's probably more of a
that would be a
one
HIPAA
at
violation. That's definitely a HIPAA violation.
Maybe like back in like the 50s or some kind of weird like era like that. Like if they're in the army or something. But like this, like imagine if you go to work and they're just like, all right, everyone strip down. We got to check you out. Like there'd be
I would probably
everywhere.
walk out of my work. I'm like, nope.
I would be like, all right, I'll see you in court.
Yeah, but I feel like physicals are probably necessary at the plant, regardless of if you're doing group ones or not. I feel like
correct.
I feel like doing it because obviously you want to make sure that you don't have radiation poisoning or, you could
Homer does.
Which Homer does, and we want to make sure everyone's kind of fit. So Homer, as he's getting checked out in the body fat tank, the thing reads 104%, and it's because Homer is eating in the tank.
Here's the thing. Here's the one thing I hate about like the body fat. I mean, it's BMI now, but the body fat index is it's not a good indicator of how healthy you are.
No.
So like, I know plenty of people who are, within their average weight and not overweight and in good physical condition. Yet, according to BMI, they're not healthy. And it's like, that's not right.
Yeah.
I feel like, how did Homer get a chicken leg in the tank with where did he hide that?
It's the same way that he had a piece of pizza when he was born. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
When he was born and he was eating the slice of pizza. Like, there's always ways to get to food, or food to get to Homer.
Yeah, Homer is so magical.
Yes.
And so the physician tells, hey, you should be eating in there, and he tells him to go to hell.
Yeah.
Well, he should be eating in the tank because it adds more weight.
Yeah, right.
It was like a chicken wing or something he was eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then Homer heads home, and Marge is like, oh, how was your day at work, dear? Oh, the usual. Stand in front of this, open that, pull down this, bend over, spread apart that, turn your head that way, cough.
Yeah, well, why? Does anybody know why doctors ask you to turn your head and cough? Like, is there a specific reason why you have to turn your head while you cough?
Yeah, I think it's the way your diaphragm reacts to the muscles of coughing.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to remember because I've gotten a physical or 2 or 3 before, and I don't even remember them asking me to turn my head or anything. I just remember them just to kind of telling me to like lean over a little bit and cough a little bit.
Interesting. I wonder if it has the same effect if you turn. Again, none of us are doctors here, so consult your doctor. Ask
even getting a physical. Who knows?
Yeah. So after
this is the dentist.
Yeah, right. And so then next we cut back to the power plant, and Smithers is checking Homer's semen sample.
Why isn't a doctor checking this?
Yeah, no.
Like they had physicians.
Why would you just have that? Yeah, exactly.
They had physicians administering, the physical, all that stuff. And I've done plenty. Now, granted, I've done physicals at doctor's office, and they send the lab work out. Why is if I knew that they were the ones checking it, I would sue the power plant. Again, another HIPAA violation. Now, granted, this is Burns. He could just pay off the HIPAA people, but
either that or
still very awkward.
Yeah,
yes.
But then again, the physicians, they might have checked everything out and told Smithers and Burns, hey, Homer isn't able to perform his duties at the power plant.
But they're not doctors. The doctor should be telling Smithers and Burns, hey, you have an employee who's not in physical condition to be at this job. Or tell him, hey, you might have a lawsuit on his hands, because as we learn, Homer's sperm count is basically non-existent.
Well, yeah, he is sterile, and I think that's when we learned that, or Homer knew that when he started working at the power plant. I think, was it The Way We Was or the Maggie Was Born episode? One of those two, and they were standing in front of the thing, and it's like, oh, working at the power plant could make you sterile. It's like, oh, now you tell me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. So he knew.
Yep. And so this must have happened then. So, I mean, obviously they had Maggie, Lisa, or Bart, Lisa, then Maggie.
Yeah.
And so then Homer must have completely bottomed out. After Maggie, his sperm count completely completely drained.
Oh no, I was just saying something must have happened like crazily between the time of Maggie and that, because like you said, he was able to have Maggie, and then like within no time at all, it just went to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he fell asleep in the reactor core or something.
I do like the fact that when Smithers is actually checking the sample, though, we see 2 Homer sperms like hit heads. Another one is sleeping, and the third one has, and then like there's a 4th or 5th one in there that has eyes. 3 eyes. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's amazing detail. That's I like that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I like when they include really deep, you know what I mean? They could have just done stupid sperm and floating around, but to throw in a blinky sperm was, I mean, that was genius.
Yeah.
And so Smithers tells Burns that Homer could sue the plant because he caused rape. Now, I don't think Homer has a leg to stand because I'm sure he did something completely stupid to cause the sperm count to drop.
Well, not only that, but I feel like if you are going to work at a power plant, they're going to make you sign a waiver of liability saying, hey, if XYZ happened to you, we are not liable. So yeah. I feel like when Homer signed on to work at the power plant, they would definitely have him sign a waiver saying, oh yeah, we're not liable if your sperm count goes low or you grow a third arm or whatever it may be.
What a crazy thing to sign, though. Imagine if you go to your job at, I don't know, like McDonald's, and they're saying, hey, you know, there's a good chance that you're going to become sterile and grow another arm. Like, who would just sign up for that? They're like, all right, sure.
But I think that would be under the impression that you follow all the rules and regulations.
Correct.
To not do that. Yeah. And I'm sure Homer did not accomplish that. And
Correct.
so Burns invited his lawyers. So he's like, before you begin, let me make one thing clear for you. I want your legal advice. I even pay for it. But to me, you're all vipers. You live on personal injury. You live on divorces. You live on pain and misery. But I'm rambling. Would anyone like some coffee?
Now, why does... I wonder if... Because don't we learn that Burns's parents at some point divorce the teddy bear episode?
Yes. Do they divorce or they just leave Burns behind?
Because I don't understand.
Thinking about it.
I don't understand Burns's animosity here towards the lawyers. I understand, like, I kind of understand his take that you know, your hospital chasers basically is what he's calling them, but I don't like they're there to protect him.
Yeah, but I think he's upset at him because they lost his Bart gets hit by a car trial.
Oh, I never thought about that.
That is true.
One. Oh.
Yeah. He was like, okay, guys, you know what? You screwed me over on that one. Let's get this one. Let's get this one straight. And so obviously the blue hair lawyer suggests just a settlement. and I like how Burns just yells at him in agreement.
And then I like, oh, where's my manners? Would you like cream in your coffee?
Yeah.
I like how he yells at him, but then he becomes civil again when he offers them the coffee.
Yep.
It's so great. It's great character development, I think, for Burns because he hates the lawyers so much, but he can still be civil towards them when he wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, below the poverty line,
which is apparently below a train track that, like, I mean, it's like one of those bridge train tracks.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
And what was it? So I like how one of the hobos is like, yeah, I used to be rich. I owned Mickey Mouse massage parlors, and those Disney sleazeballs shut me down. I said, look, I'll change the logo. Put Mickey's pants back on. Some guys you just can't reason with. This is just another one of those Disney jokes that doesn't hold up because now Fox owns Disney.
Disney owns
or Disney owns Fox. And I just want to know what was going through the Simpsons writers' heads in the 90s. Like, did they hate Disney that much?
I think they did. There had to have been some kind of clash and everything between them. And I think you guys had Mike on the show recently?
Yeah, Mike Reese.
Mike Reese. I would like to talk to one of them just to, I don't know if they would be able to say it though. Because even if they were 20 years ago, blah, 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 like this happened and we were against them versus now, they might not be able to say it.
Yeah, right.
They might not be allowed to talk about it, at least.
It's crazy. I love that line though. The fact that he's like, I'll put Mickey's pants back on, because I don't think Mickey Mouse actually wears pants.
No, Mickey Mouse wears pants. He doesn't wear a shirt. Donald Duck wears a
Yeah.
shirt, but no pants.
Okay.
There you go.
But is Donald Duck? Yeah, Donald Duck is Disney.
Yeah.
Why was I thinking Donald Duck wasn't Disney?
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's so funny how they're just throwing Disney under the bus. Like,
it's still a fantastic joke.
oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely go. Now, I'm surprised Disney hasn't pulled all the making fun of Disney episodes off of Disney Plus.
That's what
Right.
I mean, I think they want to leave it for some type of humor, but some of the stuff I feel like they would, but I guess they're just leaving it for the humor. If someone starts complaining about it enough, they will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so we get a look at some of the transients below the thing, and so one of them's dressed like Charlie Chaplin's little tramp character. One's eating a boot. Another transient is a hobo clown.
Yep.
And I like how Uncle Herb, or Unky Herb as we like to call him, just starts talking about having his own car company. It just seems like everyone underneath the tracks is just rundown millionaires.
Oh yeah, that too. I was gonna say they also
Yeah.
probably are. I feel like they kind of did the mental health, mental illness kind of thing with one of the bums, and I'm a little surprised nobody's really complained about that. But
But everyone's kind of probably pushing. I mean, think of how many people probably watch these early seasons. You know, it's probably our generation and no one cares because we've all seen it.
yeah.
That's true.
And so we get that flashback of Homer, ruining Herb. And I like how Forbes called it the blunder of the century.
Oh, but wait, was it really?
Was it?
Well, I mean, Herb did say, "What about New Coke?"
Yeah. And I like how another bum takes credit for inventing New Coke.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he's a bum, because Coke fired him for New Coke.
Yeah, the New Coke didn't have cocaine in it. No one was drinking it anymore.
Oh my god, I love that. That's fantastic. So now we cut back to the Simpsons house, and Bart and Lisa are doing a living room Olympics.
Now, come on, we've all done that, right? Everyone's turned our house into a...
Kinda. I don't remember us really doing that.
Well,
I don't remember pole vaulting, but I do remember like jumping on it and like our stepson or my stepson, he's 14, but even before that, he jumped up and down on it and stuff like that too. So,
I do like the fact that before Bart does his pole vaulting, you hear him do a Russian accent. He says, "I do it for a vacuum cleaner."
yes,
apparently,
Stainmaster carpet.
Yeah, Steam Master Carpet. I read somewhere that originally he was supposed to say, "I do it for Mother Russia," and then there was something with the Olympics that happened that they cut out the line.
Well, 92 was an Olympic year, so this would have been like right after the Olympics.
They said that he did it for the Soviet Union. So the line I think was supposed to say, "I do this for the Soviet Union," instead of doing it for Stainmaster Carpet. But around that time, the Soviet Union pretty much broke down. Like around that same time, in between writing the script, and then I think it takes 6 to 8 months for them to post. Like that's the way they do their episode. So in between that, they had to rewrite just that part, and they put, "I do it for Stainmaster Carpet," and then he goes, "Proud sponsor of the Living Room Olympics."
So then
I think he did that in a woman's voice, if I recall.
I don't remember.
Like the proud sponsor part, not the he does the Soviet Union voice, and then he does the women voice.
Yeah. So then Bart, pole vaults onto the couch, and under all that stress, the couch breaks, and Homer comes in and freaks out. And I don't know why it's like this. Homer is voiced by Hank Azaria, correct?
No, Dan Castellaneta. What are you?
Dan Castellaneta.
Dan, yeah, there you go.
I don't really remember who does what voices.
Well, you have a problem.
Well, that's neither here nor there. So I don't know if Dan, when he recorded his audio, was in a weird room, but when Homer cries about the couch being broken and starts yelling at the kids, it sounds kind of tinny and muffly. And now we all watch this on Disney Plus. However, because episode 1 of season 3 is not on Disney Plus, we went out and bought the DVD. I actually watched it on the DVD, and the sound is the same. So we thought maybe it was a Disney Plus issue. It's an actual audio issue. And I kind of wonder, don't they normally do several takes of lines?
Yeah.
What does it sound like? Because I didn't catch that.
So it sounds kind of muffled.
Does it sound weird?
Yeah, it sounds
like
kind of. It's like muffly and tinny.
Yeah, it sounds like it was recorded maybe in like a hallway.
Yeah, and then you go back to the next scene, and it's all back to normal.
So I wonder. I don't know why it was like that. Maybe that was the best take they had, and they're like, screw it, nobody's gonna notice. However, we noticed. So it was an odd. It didn't take me out of the show at all, really. It was just one of those oddities that I just kind of noticed in between like scenes.
Yeah, I'd say go back and take a listen again, just at that scene, and you'll just notice it like once Homer walks in and starts talking. It's quite odd.
Yeah.
Weird.
So Bart and Lisa tell Homer, hey, we were just sitting on the couch and we heard it creak and we had to get off really quickly. We got it like right before it collapsed. Like their lives were in danger, and I love how Bart pretends to console Lisa over it.
Well, the funny thing is though, is that couch breaks almost every other intro.
Couch gag.
Yeah.
But is the couch gag canon?
Yeah, they just have a entire so until the Simpsons got the garage full of knockoff jeans, they had a garage full of couches. They just swapped them out every. Yeah, now don't we learn like this is the not the flashback? What is it? The Behind the Laughter? Feel like isn't there something in Behind the Laughter about the couch gags where they make fun of all the broken couches and something?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So when we get to that, we will talk about where all the couches came from.
So, after, Homer admonishes the kids, he reminisces about all the good times he had on a couch, which who among us haven't had good times on a couch? He watched the TV show Dallas. He watched Hands Across America, and we see the Simpsons and Flanders and Reverend Lovejoy and some of the characters in the living room with their hands connected for, Hands Across America. And he also watched the destruction of the Berlin Wall, which he found boring, and he turns the channel to Gomer Pyle. Because that's more Homer's speed anyways, is Gomer Pyle.
Definitely.
Well, why was he watching the CNN anyway?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to see what was on the news. Maybe he was curious.
Or Ken Brockman was covering the Berlin Wall, and he's like, okay, I'm over this.
So then this is where we find out that the Simpsons got their couch from the Flanders' curb.
I can't see Flanders having that couch, but I can see the Simpsons using a used couch.
I don't know.
I just can't see Flanders throwing it out like that, though. He's
he would definitely donate
he might have donated it. Yeah,
maybe
he would donate it to someone. He wouldn't just throw it out on the road. Maybe he donated it to Homer.
Maybe.
And they just said, "Oh yeah, we got it from his curb."
Or it was one of his yard sale when his leftorium was going out, and Homer just took it.
A left-handed couch.
A left-handed couch, yeah.
Fair. So now we cut back to Herb, who is sitting on a bench, and he is trying to think of ideas to, get rich again. And he just happens to see a lady with her baby, and the baby is crying. And he's like, I have an idea. And so he goes up to the lady. He's like, oh, thank you very much for the idea. How can I thank you? And I love how she freaks out and says, don't hurt me. And he's like, okay. And to be fair, if a strange smelling, poorly dressed guy came up to me and was like, hey, how can I thank you? I'd be like, just please leave me alone. Just go away.
Oh,
I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude, but it...
Yeah, wife and child, and then like a homeless man comes up and starts kind of yelling-ish, like, how can I repay you, pretty much? She'd probably, just run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then we cut back. This is such a cool scene. So we cut back to Homer at work, and Lenny and Carl come in to console him about the couch, and he goes, "Oh, my life can't get any worse." And then they just sit there in silence.
The scene pauses.
Yeah.
They pause, and then Homer looks at the camera. And I don't remember any time in the first probably 15 to 20 seasons where they broke the fourth wall in such a way that they did within an episode. Not like the clip shows or any of that. I'm talking an actual episode like this.
Yeah, it is kind of weird for The Simpsons to do that.
Yeah, because that would be something almost more mainstream cartoon, like a Family Guy or something for them to do. But for The Simpsons, I couldn't think of a part at all besides what you just said.
Yeah, he's not Deadpool. Come on.
No, and I would definitely consider this a breaking of the fourth wall because they're just kind of sitting there staring. And then Homer reiterates, I said, I don't think my life could get any worse, which is when Smithers gets over the intercom. And doesn't he announce that he's sterile over the intercom?
Yeah.
Isn't that another HIPAA violation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's three HIPAA violations.
I figured out another fourth wall breaking. The Who Shot Mr. Burns when Chief Wiggum is,
that's
you?
Right. That's right.
But he really wasn't because he was actually pointing at, who was he pointing at? Not Homer. I can't remember who he was pointing at.
Lisa?
Maybe. But yeah, he points at the camera.
Yeah.
Camera is like,
he points at the camera. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's another fourth wall breaking moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Homer goes up to the office, and I love how Burns asks Smithers if Homer is, like, him walking in, he's like, oh, is that the guy with the bad sperm? And Smithers confirms, and Burns, greets Homer going, oh, you virile son of a gun. Which, I was kind of thinking about this from a law perspective. If Homer found out that he was sterile and Burns said this to him, does he have a case to sue him? Because Burns led him on to believe that he wasn't sterile.
Well, I mean, probably. But that's what but yeah, probably, because that's what Burns is trying to get around.
Yeah.
He's trying to get Homer not to sue him.
Yeah, and it's Homer, so he probably didn't realize it, but anybody would have, like, if the main boss, the owner of the company, asks you to come in versus someone in HR, like, Homer should have assumed, like, something's definitely wrong.
Yeah. Is Smithers HR and executive vice president?
Yep,
is he just the everyman?
Yeah, he is. He's everything from just your normal Homer Simpson all the way to Burns. Every position in between, I feel like.
Yeah. He does a lot for Mr. Burns. He's his lapdog. So Burns tells Homer he's going to give him $2,000 as long as he signs a form.
Yeah. At that point, I'd be like, okay, what's going on?
Yep. And then Homer says, I'm not signing it unless someone reads it or someone explains it to him.
Oh my God. That's fantastic. Because, Homer is dumb.
Yep. He's not going to.
Typical Homer.
Yep. He's not going to figure it out. And so Burns tells him that he won the first annual Montgomery Burns Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence.
Oh my God. Also, not this scene, but the awards scene is on, I believe, the second Simpsons album. It's either the first or the second.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know how Homer thought he was excellent at anything and thought that he could win.
I know.
But he felt happy, and so he asked if he gets a trophy and an award ceremony. And then Burns turns to his lawyers and he just gives them the nod. He's like, yes. I like how Homer initiated that.
Yeah.
It wasn't just enough to get the $2,000.
Well, he said, Burns said it was an award. So,
yeah.
with an award, there comes a ceremony sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. And so we cut to the award show, and there's some singers. And then they're singing it's the first annual Montgomery Birds Award for, and then men's singers come in, outstanding achievement in, then the female singers come in, the field of, and then all of them, excellence. And then Mr. Burns walks on stage in a tuxedo clapping.
Yeah.
And then Burns like, yes, that was Benita DeWolf and the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant Soft Shoe Society. So I don't know if that is necessarily a reference.
I have no
to something.
idea. I just kind of glossed over that.
But
scene.
I think
like,
it's
okay.
But wasn't that kind of how like the Emmys and Oscars and all the award shows like in the 50s and 60s?
Oh, the
like,
way the music was for sure.
Yeah, that was kind of the spectacle of those award shows.
And I mean the statue that Homer receives is shaped like an Emmy with Burns's figure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I wonder who decided to come up with that. Probably Burns.
Probably.
Or Smithers.
Yeah.
Probably Smithers.
Yeah. And then I got Lisa's like, this award is the biggest farce I ever saw. And I was like, what about the Emmys? I stand corrected.
I'm pretty sure they were, I mean, clearly this entire scene was making fun of the Emmys, clearly.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny.
They were not subtle about it at all.
I mean, I feel like, though, nowadays, award shows just seem almost stupid because either everyone gets an award or so many things get nominated or... Yeah. Well, I feel like in the 90s, though, it was a little bit more... Like, I felt like I wanted to watch them in the 90s. I didn't feel like they were
Well, I feel
horrible.
especially nowadays with Hollywood award shows, the reason I think people have a big dissonance with them is because they're I know they don't vote necessarily among themselves, but it's basically a lot of bribing at this point to be nominated, and it's just, who cares? Nobody cares anymore.
Well,
you got a good movie, like,
and they do like
100.
Well, and they do like 100 award shows in a year, and it's like, okay, I mean, maybe if you did 2 award shows, one for the writers, one for the
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's like the Screen Actors Guild Awards, which are for all the people in SAG, and then there's the Independent Film Awards for all. I mean, it's just, it's
I don't
crazy.
care. I don't care if you've won any awards. If you're a good actor or actress, I'm gonna watch your stuff. It's like one of my favorite video games is Borderlands, and their casting choices I was not happy with, and I think there's 2 award winners in the cast, which is Jack Black and Cate Blanchett. I don't know if Kevin Hart's won any awards, but I don't care if you're a big name, you've won any awards. I want good actors and actresses with a competent storyline. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, it is. That's why there's reboots and
right. My god,
because it's too much to ask to have quality
quality original content.
They gotta remake everything.
Yep. And so Joe Frazier presents the award.
Yep, it's Joe Frazier. They got Joe Frazier. I mean, I don't know what else he was doing. So boxing, maybe, I don't know.
They almost. I read online that they originally had asked George Foreman.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did hear about that.
Yeah, they asked to do it, and he didn't. He wasn't just available to do it at the time. He said,
I mean, they
maybe at a later time, but I just don't know if it ever happened with him.
Yeah, they could have done a lot of people though. They could have done Mike Tyson. I mean, Joe Frazier was good.
I think I read somewhere Joe Frazier had problems saying the word excellence, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Well, when people are, we learned during Homer at the Bat that,
Griffey.
I mean, with Griffey and a lot of other, not actors, they're not voice actors, so they don't quite know how to do it.
Yep.
And so I like how Homer's in the audience crossing his fingers, hoping that he won. Lisa has to remind him that he already was the winner.
Don't jinx it, Lisa.
Yeah.
It's like, the whole thing is here for you. There's no jinxing about it.
Yeah. Have any of you ever won an award and were like, oh, I know I'm winning, but you just thought in the back of your mind, what if I don't win?
The only I mean, yes and no. So I play the violin and I did a lot of solo ensemble I don't know what they're called, not contests, not tournaments. It's just a big gathering and you're all graded and you don't really compete against one another, but I did fairly well. So I guess I won, but I've never been nominated for an award. So can't really say I've won an award.
Oh, I thought you were nominated for like a Emmy at work.
I was nominated for an Emmy at work, but we didn't win. Thank you for reminding me about that.
Well, you just said you weren't nominated for an award.
Well, technically,
so were you trying to throw it under the rug, and were you like, I was never nominated. It never happened. If I don't win, it never happened.
Exactly. We didn't win, so it never happened. But I do. It's kind of cool because I do have the nomination plaque on my wall because how often in your life are you going to get nominated for an Emmy?
Oh, so you were nominated. Okay, gotcha. So you're just changing your mind.
The group was nominated, and we all got individual nomination cards.
All right. So it did happen. Okay,
it did happen. But we didn't win, unfortunately. So I don't have my Emmy.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun to say you have an Emmy.
I know. That's why I wanted to win so badly.
And then I would have brought up this episode and saying, "Isn't this award the biggest farce I ever saw?" It would have been a great tie-in.
That would have been a great
conversation starter to have at your house too.
I know.
If someone,
I do have the plaque that says I was nominated, so that's a fairly decent.
We'll just put a bunch of arrows and lights around it so people can see it just in case.
Oh man,
put backlighting on it,
dude. Had you won an Emmy, I would have so asked if you would take off the little Emmy guy and put a Burns on there instead.
No, I'm not ruining a $300 statue. Yes, the statues cost $300, by the way.
But it would be so worth it.
That you would have to buy?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If I had won the Emmy, I would have had a... Now, granted, when I told my parents I was nominated...
Congratulations, you won, but you have to, pay for your own trophy. If not, here's a piece of paper saying you won it. Of course, everyone's going to pay for it.
Yeah. No, when I told my parents that I had won, my mom was like... Or when I was nominated, my mom was like, oh, if you win the Emmy, we'll give you the money for the statue. I'm like, all right.
Huh. Yep. So, well, yeah, I mean, anybody would. Hell, I would have. Yeah. Jeez. I mean, that would have been like such a bummer if you imagine if someone won and they're just like, well, I can't afford it. And we're like, all right, well.
Well, here's a piece of
paper. Yep.
Yep. So I like how the Simpsons theme plays as they announce Homer as the winner.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, what else are they going to play there? I don't know. Is there any royalty-free, triumphant winning music that they could have used? I mean, I guess who's their composer in season 3?
I think Danny Elfman's been doing
Danny Elfman, yeah.
He's been doing it since the beginning, yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
But that's that fourth dimension thing you were talking about almost, or not dimension, the thing that you talk
fourth
to the
wall.
camera.
Yeah.
The fourth wall.
It's kind of like with the Simpsons thing, they played the Simpsons song in the episode for that, which I thought was kind of odd.
And this is at least one of 2 times I know that they play the Simpsons theme. And the other one, they're not playing it. Bart is whistling it, and Marge asks him to stop whistling that annoying tune.
Stop that annoying tune, yeah.
So it is kind of funny, though. Maybe this is where Bart heard it, and he's been whistling it ever since.
Maybe.
That'd be kind of funny. And then Marge just was like, okay, you know what? Enough of this. You've been whistling this for 10 seasons. Get over it.
Yeah.
And so I like how Homer stands up and, waves to the crowd and is cheery, and then he falls over the balcony into the orchestra pit.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I feel like they would have... Okay, most award winners have, front row seats, don't they? Or, first...
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was in the balcony.
Do. Well, yeah, that's kind of like a royalty kind of seat.
Yeah.
But still, if they wanted him to go up there, I don't know. That would have been a pain to have to get from there. But then again, in his case, he just fell over anyway.
Yeah, he took a shortcut.
Yeah.
I mean, he took a pretty decent fall, and they didn't, he didn't break anything. He didn't kill anybody for landing on him or anything like that.
Not that we know of.
We know of. I mean, he took out some people. I feel like. Imagine. Oh God. Okay. I'm such an asshole. Imagine if there's 300 or 400 pound dude that falls from you from 30 feet up without knowing it.
Now to be fair, Homer weighs 238 pounds.
He definitely weighs 400. I don't care what that scale is.
So his scale's broken.
I know what 230 looks like, and I know what 300 or 400 looks like, and he's definitely 300 or 400 pounds.
All right. All right. So Homer is, I like how Homer's still sad about losing the couch. And Fraser says he knows how Homer feels because he lost the heavyweight belt. But Homer's says, yeah, but there's only 3 of those. But that couch was a one of a kind.
Yeah, because he stole it from Flanders, and Flanders isn't going to put out any more couches.
Now, was he saying there's 3 of them because there's a lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight? Was that the 3?
Correct.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
At the time, yeah.
Okay.
Now they have a ton of different ones.
Yeah, because he was he lost the heavyweight belt, and Homer's like, oh, there's 3 of those. So I was wondering if the 3 meant, light, middle, and heavyweight.
Probably. I would assume that would be correct.
Okay. And then,
I don't know anything about the early 90s boxing scene, so I'm just going to assume that you're right.
Yeah.
We'll just say yes.
Yeah. The only thing I know about boxing is Rocky. That's my extent. Yeah. And so Barney and Frasier go outside to fight. And I like how, because I don't know, what was their argument about? Who was a better...
They were going back and forth about something.
Yeah, I can't remember
I don't
whether...
your attitude or something, and then they go out there and fight.
Yep, and you see Frasier beating up Barney. Blood ends up on the door. I mean, I think this is really the first time we ever see actual
fight.
Fight and an actual blood spatter, and you see Barney's teeth flying. I mean...
Apparently, originally they wanted Barney to beat out Frasier, and they're like, "That's not a good idea."
Yep, because his son said something about it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Joe Frazier's son was just like, "No, because my dad is the world champion. So why would you want him losing on a cartoon against some big fat bar slob kind of guy?" So they were like, "Nope." So they changed it to Frasier winning. So that was I really wish, and I don't. They didn't do this in the behind the scenes cut on the DVD, but I wish they would show alternate things of what they have written. So after they wrote it and maybe even drew it, that would be awesome to be like, oh, actually we did this, and here's a take of it.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I mean, I do like the fight scenes in the I mean, we had a few episodes ago we had the Barney and Wade Boggs episode, fight. Yeah. I mean,
Major Tannenbaum.
No, Roy Palmerton.
Fighting everyone.
Yeah, Barney seems to get in a lot of bar fights. That's for sure.
But because his whole life is a bar slob kind of guy, bar fly. And imagine that one. Barney's got to be 300 plus, and he's just drinking, so he's probably drunk 90% of his life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except for whenever he goes to space.
But then he becomes
but he didn't
sober.
go to space. He didn't go to space because he drank non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, he just gets very in shape very, very quick. I think within a few minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. That was pretty. Yeah, Barney is definitely a good drunk, non-alcoholic, drunk, sober, drunk. I don't know.
And a good singer.
And a good singer.
Yep.
So then we get to her back under the bridge talking to the bums about having an idea, but he has no money. And he sees a newspaper with the headline, "Local man, Homer Simpson receives award and $2,000 check."
Yeah.
That's, I mean, they're sleeping under newspapers. I was going to say, it's kind of just a coincidence that newspaper was there, but, TV show.
Yeah.
So Herb decides he's going to catch a train to Springfield. And I had read somewhere that this was supposed to be a different scene. Unfortunately, I don't remember what I read. So we'll go on. So on the train, there is a car for toxic waste. There is a car for circus lions, a car for Krusty Brand sulfuric acid, and then Emil's fluffy pillows, which of course is the one that Herb jumps onto.
Dude, I want some Krusty Brand sulfuric acid. That stuff's gotta. I mean, of all. Okay, so we all know that Krusty Brand products usually fail.
That is true.
So wouldn't it stand to reason that the Krusty Brand sulfuric acid would actually not work?
Possibly.
Yeah,
but is that a chance you really want to take?
Yeah, no, not at all.
So I know you're making some nerve tonic there, Simpsons Man. Are you going to make some Krusty Brand? Have you ever thought about making Krusty Brand anything?
I have the cough syrup that I had made, but I made a one of. And I just never, laziness kicked in, and I was just like, maybe I'll get to it one day. Same thing with the Simpsons tonic. I have an actual one made finally, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet.
Yeah,
gotcha.
That'd be something to sell, and you got to fill it with Gatorade or something. So you got to get you got to get a liquid sponsor to fill it in.
I wish. I think I might have to just keep them without liquid, because when you ship something with liquid in it,
it costs more.
It's not the cost. It's anything goes overseas, especially. Then they're just really crazy about it, like laws and everything.
Oh, gotcha.
Even though it'd be like water or something, like they're still crazy about it.
So now we cut to Homer walking, who's still deflated about his couch, and he passes by a store with the Spine Melter 2000, which is basically one of those vibrating chairs.
Yeah, like just like I assumed it was kind of like a kickoff of like the Lazy Boy or something from back in the day, because how popular Lazy Boys used to be then versus now.
Yeah, I was almost thinking like Sharper Image.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, Homer has the furniture store salesperson, demonstrate the Spine Melter 2000 vibrating chair on full power. I love how the guy's like, this is good. And Homer's like, just give me everything. And so as Homer sits in the chair, he experiences the light show he experiences, and his face being under different colors of light are exactly like 2001: A Space Odyssey's penultimate scene. I've never seen a Space Odyssey. It's really good. I know it's really good. I've been meaning to watch it, but I've never seen it.
You need to watch
Steve,
more
you've
movies.
Seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies. I used to work at a video store before
is true.
Before video stores went the way of the
video store.
Yeah, some people might be listening and be like, "What's that?"
It's this place. It was like Redbox, but really big. And you went in.
It was a building.
And it was a building. And then you went in to rent a movie, and it was completely rented out. And so you had to get on a wait list for the movie to come back.
I miss those days. We didn't have even though like Panama City is kind of a popular city, we didn't have a Blockbuster. We had a movie gallery, and we had this place called Top Banana Video. And that one was like the place to go to for like video games and VHS. Like every Friday or Saturday night, my parents would take us there, and we'd always get something. And that's like something nostalgic that I could never explain that to the kids. They'd be like, "What? No. You got to go pick this up? Like, why don't you just like watch it online or Netflix or on your phone?" Or and it's like, we didn't have phones. I
was gonna say your daughter might be too old for it now, but I mean, in my old house, I had a '90s room. Like I had a tube TV, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, VCR. Like it was decked out '90s, and I always wanted to just confuse my kid and introduce him to like that room and say, "This is technology now." And like completely confuse the crap out of him, and then eventually he upgrades to like a Sega Genesis and PlayStation. Just like he goes to school. Oh my gosh, you play that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on Super Nintendo? And everyone.
So you're trying to get your kid beat up.
Exactly.
Good job.
Yeah.
God,
I always thought that'd be funny. But yeah, so Homer's considering the purchase of the Spine Melter 2000, and Marge is like, he's like, Marge, there's an empty spot I've always had inside me. I tried to fill it with family, religion, community service, but those are all dead ends. I think this chair is the answer.
When did he ever try to fill in that hole with community service?
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't even get off the couch for Hands Across America.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true. And he hates going to church and stuff, so I know he's not stoked about that.
Yep, I mean, season 4 starts the week after this, guys, so we're gonna get into some Homer the Heretic, so we get to learn how much Homer really does hate church.
Yeah. So, Marge says, that $2,000 can't buy a whole living room set. So I don't know if either of you guys have bought a new living room set, like even in the last 3 years. Did you guys spend more or less same as 2,000?
That's just hit and miss, I guess, for what you're going to buy. So whenever I bought my new house, we went crazy and bought like some furniture, and we spent like $5,000 on like everything, and that's including dining room and the living room.
That's not bad.
But it was like leather, and I was like, you know what? Like whatever we buy, we're not like teenagers. We're not gonna like buy it and then like throw it away or on the curb or something 2 months later. Like we're gonna keep this for like 20 years. So we just kind of forked over a little extra money and just do it. But for $2,000. Even in today's times, I feel like you could still buy like a decent set.
Trust me, you can.
Somewhere.
Well, I mean, you walk into IKEA and they have their whole little rooms. So like this whole room costs like $800, and you're like,
I wish we had one here. Because, exactly what you just said. It's like you want this whole entire mini apartment in your house. $1,000 and it's yours, and you're just like, what? Like that's it?
Yeah, because now granted, I piecemealed my living room together with my TV stand, my 2 couches, and my rug and my end tables. I probably spent a couple $100, or maybe like 500 for the couches, but like,
yeah,
the TV stand was $80, the rug was like 20, the TV stands were free. I think the lamp that I bought was like 50 because I went to Home Depot. But yeah, I kind of thought, well, $2,000, that doesn't seem like a whole lot, but then, thinking about it, oh yeah, I didn't really spend that whole much money. I didn't even spend maybe a half of that for my living room.
Yeah, so they can get a good one.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure exactly what episodes. I've seen it, I think, once or twice, but they actually show that vibrating chair in other episodes, like in the future. Like it's in the attic in one of the episodes, but they do show it.
All right, we'll keep an eye out. We usually try to keep an eye out for throwbacks.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, they put that in, like I you probably can quick Google it, who knows, but they do have it because after he, at the end of the episode he's using it, but they never show it again.
Yeah.
What did they do with it? They didn't just get rid of a $2,000 chair, so they just threw it up in the attic. Which putting that chair in an attic, I don't know how, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
So Herb, after seeing Homer got $2,000, decides to go visit the Simpsons, and he Flanders is the next door neighbor, so he looks at the Simpsons house and the front lawn's all trash because they have kids, and he looks at Flanders' house and it's all nice and prim because Flanders is a neat gentleman, and he decides, oh well, this is a nice looking house, this is where Homer lives. And my question is, why would he think that? Does he not remember the Homer?
After his confrontation with him and finally meeting him and everything, like I would 100% think he lives in the trash house.
Yeah,
exactly. Like what? That's like, I don't get it. So he goes to Flanders, and Flanders sees Herb, and the kids are excited that they get to clean up a hobo, and Flanders gives him a suit,
the sores on his feet and everything.
Like they clean him up, they give him a suit, which, Flanders, I don't know, what does Flanders do? Do we ever find out?
Well, I think he's still at the Leftorium now.
Leftorium
is the permanent thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But that wasn't always his thing, though.
No, he was a traveling medicine,
no.
Not a pharmacist, but it was. They told us what it was in the the Leftorium episode.
Yeah.
When Homer when Flanders failed.
Yeah. As Herb walks out of the Flanders house, the Flanders starts singing, and Homer hears him. And he goes, "I wish I was deaf."
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to hear it. So Herb he goes to the other house, which actually happens to be Homer's house. He rings the doorbell, and he's sitting outside, and he's just grappling. Oh, should I punch him? Should I hug him? How do I greet Homer? This is the man that, devastated my life. And so he doesn't know how to greet Homer, and Homer comes to the door. He opens up, and he sees that it's Herb, and Herb, goes with punching Homer in the face.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a perfectly reasonable reaction to, your stepbrother, or not stepbrother, half brother, basically ruining your life.
Yep. And he hasn't seen him in God knows how long. So it's just, he just had to do it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever hated anyone that much where if I ever saw him again, I'd punch him.
Yeah.
But then again, I've never lost an entire company. So...
So
and,
then
he went to him though too. It wasn't like
correct.
A random like I saw you in the streets. It's like no, he went to his house.
Yeah, he wanted to actually. To be fair, if I was Homer, I'd be like, well, why am I giving you money now? You just punched me in the face.
Yeah. He just
felt
bad. Plus, we know that Homer's not the smartest guy too.
Yeah. No. And so Homer Homer decides to show Herb how he lives because Homer thinks his house is extremely nice, and he completely forgot that he lived in a mansion, I guess.
Yeah, well, before he shows him, Homer did ask Herb not to punch him in the face again, just, kick him in the butt, and Herb was like, I can't promise that.
Yep. And so Homer shows Herb the dual light switches on the wall. And
fancy.
I know. I wish I have smart lights, so, I'm way beyond Homer.
Yes.
But one switch controls the inside light, but Homer doesn't know what the other one does. Like, how do you not know what your light switches do? And he flicks
Okay,
it.
to be fair, I have a dual light switch at the top of my basement. One of the switches controls the kitchen. I have no idea if the other one's connected, and if it were connected, what it controls.
I bet it.
So,
is it like Homer? Does it say Merry Christmas and Happy 1985 on your roof?
Right.
no, it does not. There are no lights on my roof.
Oh, okay. That you know of.
No, there are no lights on my roof.
Do you have a random light switch that you don't know what it does?
I'm trying to think. I did, but then I figured it out, and it was something silly like the power out. It would control the power outlets or the wall outlets.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what maybe that's what yours does. Like there's certain outlets that turn on and turn off.
It's possible.
I just have random light switches in my place.
You do.
They remodeled, like it was like, you know how like everyone's doing like open floor plans now, open living room kitchens.
Yeah.
So my house used to be closed off everywhere, so there were obviously light switches in spots that made sense for closed off rooms. Well, once they opened everything up, now there's light switches literally on walls that do what they're supposed to do, but they're just in completely random spaces.
Don't you have like a dual light switch by your back door and then like a single light switch on the other side?
Yeah, it's
your kitchen area.
It's crazy. Yeah. So we get another animation error. So Homer is sitting at the side of the table by the kitchen, and Marge sits on the opposite end. And we see the curtains behind Marge, as expected. But when we sit at Homer's shot, we also see the curtains and not the doorway to the kitchen.
Yeah, it was really odd when I watched that scene. And I had to rewind it a couple of times because I'm like, wait, I know the layout of the Simpsons dining room. Where Homer's sitting would be where the kitchen is, and we always see the door. And where Marge is sitting, there's the window there. So obviously curtains. And then they cut to Homer. And I'm like, wait, that's yellow. Those are the curtains. What's going on here?
They were playing musical chairs during dinner.
I've seen it before on the show when they do it with different paintings in the background. They'll swap back and forth to a shot of Marge and then back to Marge, and there'll be a completely different painting behind her in the same thing. And then also the Frank Grimes episode where he grabs the beaker and Homer's about to drink it, but whenever he like off of like a random windowsill, but whenever Frank goes to hit him, he's nowhere near like a windowsill or anything at all. So there's definitely like little animation errors, as you'd like to call them, like throughout the shows for sure.
Yeah. No, it's kind of funny to point them out because I know there's tons of animators. Obviously, one or three, 4 people can't just do an entire episode. They got to divide up the work. But I feel like nowadays it probably happens less because everything's all computers. Where back then it was all hand drawn. So you kind of look at it like, well, maybe they should have just a team. Okay, we're going to all do this scene together and all sit in the same room. So that way everything at least matches up. But the funny thing is you see this in like, real or what am I talking about? Live action movies where like you get a shot of someone's desk and the books are in a certain spot. And then you get that same shot of that desk again. And the books are completely in a different spot.
Game of Thrones, where they had the Starbucks coffee thing.
Yeah.
Viral.
And it's really funny because I've been on a few movie sets and there is literally someone's job to take photos of the set before each take to recreate it when they need to reset the scene. It's literally someone's job to do that. So every time I see that mistake, I'm like, well, that guy's fired.
Yeah, because sometimes they got to do it 20 or 30 different times, and if whichever one they choose, they want to obviously make sure it matches the scene right before it when they splice them in together.
Exactly. Yep. So according to Herb, so now we're sitting at the table. According to Herb, discarded pizza boxes are an inexpensive source of cheese. Because Bart asked, how does hobos live? How does how do you get by? And I don't know if I'd want to eat old cheese out of a pizza box, but if you're homeless, I guess
the pizza. Well, also the box itself is probably good fiber.
Yeah, right.
Is he talking about the cheese that just melts off of the pizza
onto
and
the box? Yeah,
Maybe.
So, I mean, that can't be more than like half an ounce of cheese or
yeah,
something.
I know, right? Yeah, unless he's just sitting outside a Pizza Hut collecting all the boxes.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah, and so Lisa is sad because Uncle Herb didn't write to anyone, which, I mean, why would he write? I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
to be fair, Uncle Herb was not pissed at anyone else but Homer.
Correct.
So I could really see Unky Herb writing to everyone else but Homer.
Yeah.
But he was homeless though, right? Like, is that what she's referring to when he was homeless?
Yeah, I guess.
So, like, if you have a homeless, like, I mean, I don't really know any homeless people, but I'm assuming they're not probably just sitting out there writing letters to people.
Yeah.
They don't have the chance to. Like, they have to buy a stamp.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, if you actually get into it, kind of thing, like, how are they going to do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Herb tells Maggie, so after dinner, they're all Herb's walking around the house, and he goes into Maggie's room, and he's like, I'm going to tell you a little secret. You're going to make me rich. And we see the Simpsons playing Monopoly downstairs, and Herb lands on one of Lisa's properties, wiping the rest of his money out. And we've all been there.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
Broke again,
Monopoly is one of those games that makes you hate people.
Yeah. And then
it always ends bad.
Yeah. Yep. And then Homer makes fun of Herb because, hey, you're poor again. And then Herb punches him in the face because he couldn't promise him.
Well, that, and you know what? That's a fair reaction as well.
Yep. And so Bart reminds the family of the $2,000 Homer won.
I feel like this was kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah.
It was just really odd that Bart's like, because they're fighting over Monopoly, and then Bart's like, and then they're like, Herb was talking about an invention, and Bart's like, it just, the conversation just seemed really weird.
Yeah. But Lisa's like, I want to invest in books. And Bart's like, I want to get a machine gun. And Marge wants to replace the washer and dryer, which, they cut to them shaking in the basement, which I think we've seen it actually before, that they're shaking in the basement.
I love how Snowball 2 like runs away.
Yeah.
They like try to attack it. Apparently they stopped kind of doing these cutaway gags after Family Guy came out, because that's like Family Guy's whole shtick.
Yeah.
So, we've seen it a couple times here and there where we see kind of a cutaway gag. I mean, it works within the story. It's not like a one-off joke. Yeah. But I feel like The Simpsons definitely don't do it as much anymore because of Family Guy.
Yeah.
So, Herb tells The Simpsons he wants to give them a 20-minute presentation, and Homer groans. And we get our first appearance of the drinking bird, which we also see in when Homer gets fat.
Yep.
King size Homer.
King size Homer.
My favorite episode. I have Moo Moo Homer on my keychain right now.
Nice.
I do have the Moo Moo Homer pop.
Yep.
I got the pop and I got the keychain, and
nice.
There's another thing I have them too. I can't remember, but that's my favorite episode.
And then Homer is like so amazed by the drinking bird. He loves it.
He thinks it's the best invention ever.
He thinks that's the invention right there that Herb's trying to show.
Yep. And so Herb, introduces the baby translator. He's like, it measures the pitch, the frequency, and the urgency of a baby's cry. And then he tells whoever's around in plain English. Now, Robert, you don't have this, but me and the Simpsons Man, we both have kids, and I think we both would agree that this product would be fantastic.
Oh, it would have been revolutionary if they would have kept up with the idea back then.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Now, I would have loved someone actually inventing this, after The Simpsons, and been like, oh, The Simpsons predicted the future on this one.
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
So Tesla, or not Tesla, so Elon Musk is doing that Neuralink thing, so I don't see it being too far out of the thing with maybe putting a helmet or something, or a pair of glasses or some headphones on a baby. Like, I could see it maybe happening, but not anytime soon.
Yeah,
I do love when Herb shows the blueprints. He tells Homer to use, Homer uses his imagination, and it just goes back to the drinking bird.
Typical Homer.
Yeah. So then, her for some reason, Herb name drops Raffi.
Well, he's talking about I think it was just like things kids like.
Oh yeah.
And Raffi's something kids like.
Yeah.
Oh, Raffi. So then, Homer tells Herb he will give him the money if Herb forgives him and treats him like a brother. Herb says no, so Homer asks for the drinking bird.
It's like, all right, fine, just give me the drinking bird.
Yeah. So then we see on the invention oscilloscopes for less. I don't know what an oscilloscope is, though.
Me neither.
Is that a made-up word, or is that a real thing?
I don't know. I've never seen one before or heard of it, but let me see.
It's really weird. So while Steve finds it, Herb, we get a montage of Herb using Maggie to get his translator working. We see Maggie sucking Herb's nose. And I'd like to point out when Herb says the word suck, it does not sound like the word suck.
Huh.
No?
Just use your imagination. To me, I knew he said the word suck, but in my brain, it did not sound like the word suck. I will let you guys use your imagination on what word you think I heard. You're probably
Maybe starts with an F.
Maybe.
It might.
So an oscilloscope is one of those sound wave generators, like to show like the peaks and bottoms of sound waves for electronic testing.
Yeah. And I know on the finished product we do see the sound waves.
Yep.
So okay. So then Herb, presents the Simpsons the baby monitor. Translator. I said baby monitor. There's similar words. One starts with a T, so one starts with an M. And so, they use Maggie for the translator. And Homer is sad Herb is still mad at him. And so Homer's like, should have just taken existing. He doesn't like the product. He hates it. And he says, you should have just taken an existing product and put a clock on it. I feel like they did that a lot, didn't they, in the 90s? They just took one product and stuck a clock on it? Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
Am I misremembering the 90s?
They have some Simpson toys that look kind of like misplaced, and it's like an alarm clock, but it's just like a weird toy with just like a clock in it. So I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then Herb goes, every mom will want one.
Yeah. Well, no, Marge says that.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, every mom will want one.
That's right.
And it's funny because I feel like even Homer, even though he hates Herb, I feel like he'd be like, yeah, this is amazing because Maggie's always goo goo gagaing at me and I have no clue what she's saying.
It's kind of I wouldn't say the fun, but I feel like maybe that's why no one has tried to do this, because it's part of just growing up in general, like learning all the different things on your own versus a machine doing it. But then again, we live in the 21st century that a machine does everything for us now anyway. So
yep. I mean, I think most parents do have a good understanding. Oh, my kid's crying, he's hungry, or
tired,
hungry, wet diaper. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I did a pretty good job, discerning what my kid was trying to tell me.
Yeah,
for sure.
Even if it took 3 tries.
Hey, sometimes it's going to take 3 tries, man.
Yeah.
They're kids.
Yep. And so they head to the Baby Expo. Twofer. Baby Expo Twofer.
No. Baby Expo Tuesday through Friday.
Oh, is it Tuesday through Friday?
Yes.
That's what they were abbreviating? I was wondering.
Correct.
I thought they were getting a 2 for 1 or something.
No. Tuesday through Friday.
Most expos aren't really during the week, though. Most expos are on the weekend.
Yeah.
Correct.
Always the weekend.
Yeah. And I like how it's the twin convention, no triplets.
Because they're not 2, they're 3.
Well, I think that's why. Maybe that's why I thought it was like 2fer, was because it was twin convention, no triplets. I think my mind was in the right place.
I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday through Friday.
I think you're right, but it's kind of weird. Seems weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
And so we get a couple booths. We get wacky wipes, toy insurance, which I feel like most kids would like to have some toy insurance, and baby plane, and dog in a ball.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
A dog in a ball?
Well, neither would the baby plane.
No.
But it does work. You just can't control it well.
Yeah. But dog in a ball, I mean, look, you put hamster in a ball. I feel like you get like a teacup poodle or teacup chihuahua. You throw it in a rolly ball. It could be fun.
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like kids like things in balls that roll around.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be cruel to the dog or whatever if you were to throw him in a ball.
Maybe.
Yeah. They can't run away.
In this day and age, it would definitely be cruel.
Yes.
Oh,
People,
for sure.
People get mad about people having animals on leashes almost sometimes. It's just like, could you imagine throwing a ball?
And yet we don't get angry when we throw kids on leashes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we get the baby plane invented by Dr. Frank, who apparently has a kid. I mean, we learned that he was married.
Yeah.
But I apparently didn't know he had a kid.
And his wife is going to kill him.
And
because he flew his son out of the window.
On the show too that
are
just a little bit about him, but not like everything about him, I guess.
Yeah,
correct.
And one of the things I know a lot of people were talking about for The Simpsons is if you're running out of ideas for episodes, you could do like spin-off episodes where you spend the entire episode with Frank or Disco Stew or
like an origin story. They do it on Walking Dead and every show out there that's relevant right now. And like I've suggested that with Hans Mole Man because of
I just want a Hans Mole Man movie.
Oh man,
they had that.
There's
it was
so many,
man
like,
getting hit in football with a groin. And
that's a video, not a movie.
But he made a video for that. Look how awesome that was.
Exactly.
A whole movie about him, just like Hank Scorpio. They should have made a whole movie about him too.
I think if the Simpsons start kind of burning out, I think that would be the way to go.
Correct. I mean, it's about time.
Start burning out.
Yeah, I mean they're. I mean, how many more seasons do we got here before they have
35,
to just call it
I believe.
No, I think they signed on for 2 more.
I think for 2 more. I think they renewed for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 34.
Yeah. We get a kid walking around on a leash but can't talk, and I feel like he has to be like 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, I know my kid was talking at that age, especially. I mean, not like fluent English or anything, but it just seems so weird that we see this kid walking around on a leash who seems like of age, kind of babbling. And I'm like, okay, that kid should be able to talk by now. Yeah. But, all the other babies are talking and the translator's working and, everyone literally opens up their wallets and holds out wads of cash. Because apparently Herb manufactured several of these for $2,000. And just had him at the expo. I feel like that's not how expos
he had
work.
One. He had the one.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, he had one. He sold it, and then he sold the idea to a manufacturer to manufacture all these baby translators.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Probably how it works.
Almost like a modern day like Kickstarter or something.
Correct.
Like that, like an Indiegogo. That's how they set it up.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole. Yeah, that's what I thought expos were for. Like expos were to show your product. It's kind of like E3 or any of those other shows.
Yep.
The tech shows. And so Herb buys the Simpsons presents, just like in The Wizard of Oz.
Although, I mean, those presents were given out, not bought, but same principle applies.
Well, Herb bought them.
Yeah.
Lisa gets the Ethan Frome encyclopedia, the first edition of the books that she wanted to invest in.
And Herb said they were going to keep coming every month.
Yeah.
So he basically bought her the subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a good subscription to anything.
Yeah.
But I like to see the Simpsons bookshelf to see where all these books wound up, though.
Lisa's room.
Lisa, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then Bart gets a membership to the NRA because he's not old enough to buy a machine gun yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of weird I don't know. I mean,
back then I mean obviously it would have still been weird, but the way that they talked about I mean, like even when like being kids and stuff, they would just show like little kids shooting guns and everything else.
Yeah.
Like they would sell those toys in Walmart and stuff like that. Now it's like no way. I mean, they changed the damn emoji on iPhone to a squirt gun when it used to be a gun. So it's definitely different.
Yeah, it is amazing how the culture has come about, yet we're still selling thousands. And now they're not obviously real guns, but we're selling like thousands upon thousands of Nerf guns every single day. Little kids are running around. Now, I get that they're fake, and I'm sure the kids, if you're a parent teaching your kid, hey, these are fake guns are bad, then all's well and good. But it just seems like, I feel like at some point, Nerf guns and like just weaponry in general is going to like tailor back a little bit because everyone's, going to get afraid of it.
Well, I mean, I know at some schools, just being a parent and stuff, if your kid even does like a choo choo, like a little, like with your hand, like a handgun gesture, depending on the age and the context, they can get like sent home. And I'm just like, man, they're just like playing around. But yeah, that was a thing with my wife's, was it like not cousin? She's the aunt, so whatever that would be for him, like niece or nephew. That's what it is. That happened to him.
Wow,
and I was just like, holy crap. Yep.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
It's the world we live in now. So her bought, everyone's soft. So her bought Barge the new washer and dryer that she wanted and sold the old ones to Mo for $50 so they could race them. And I like how Mo loses. That's the best. Now, I wonder, in the X-Files episode, we see a shot of, Mo, hosing down the whale in the back. We see a washer and dryer set in Mo's back room. I wonder if these are those washer and dryers.
Probably.
Yep, that's just another one of those, like we were talking about with the spine melter, just that, because or the Drinky Bird. It's just they just reuse a lot of the same stuff. Why not?
Which is so awesome. I always wonder because these are just background things, and I wonder if the animators are just behind it or if the writers are thinking about it in advance.
No, maybe not so much in advance, but they've definitely like, hey, we should throw that little Easter egg in to like, catch some people off guard or just to see if people remember or might point it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's good. And so I like how Herb walks out to the lawn with Homer, and he's like, "Oh, I bet you didn't get me anything." And he hugs him and says, "I forgive you." And then he's like, "And I got you the damn couch or the damn chair."
Yep.
As it's pulling up. And then I like how at the end of the scene, so you get the family sitting on the couch, Homer in his new Spine Melter 2000. But where the hell did the couch come from? Did Herb buy him a new couch? Did they get it fixed? I mean,
I don't think you're fixing that couch.
Yeah, you're not fixing that couch. So they maybe Herb bought it for him also.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so random. Like, it's just so funny. Like, I feel like it's almost like Marge would have got a different whole living room set, but obviously the Simpsons couch is a staple of the Simpsons. Granted, to be fair, we're only on season 3, so it's not like they had a, really keep it until they could have just started fresh. Because remember, this is the season finale, so they could have been like, okay, we're ending season 3. Simpsons got a brand new couch, new furniture, new, let's pick it up with season 4 with new everything. I mean, they theoretically, being that early on in the show, you could have done something like that.
But don't forget, this was originally supposed to be the season 1 finale, or the season 4 premiere.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So Fox made the decision. Oh, never mind. This is going to be the season 3 finale.
Yeah,
so
that's okay. You could have taken it and seasons 4, episode 1. The Simpsons get a new couch. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, okay, I get it. It's the Simpsons family couch. I mean, I just wonder, okay, did her buy it? Did they get it fixed? Where'd that couch come from?
We will never know.
Yeah, it's always going to be one of those things that'll be there regardless of what happens on that episode or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Or, like I mentioned at the top of the show, there's just a garage full of Simpsons couches.
Could
maybe.
Be.
Or it's like, like in the Jetsons where they have the bed that makes itself or folds out from every time a couch gets destroyed, a new one just pops in its place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not so futuristic for them, though.
Yeah, it might be a little bit futuristic. And so then we get the first title card with, Homer vibrating the couch with a picture of Homer's sperm also vibrating. Because they're already dead. They're,
They're not going
I'm
pretty
anywhere.
sure vibrating chairs are not good for men.
I didn't know if that was like a myth or whatever, because I feel like
Because I know
if
hot
that
tubs
were,
aren't.
yeah, I mean even that, because I feel like if that were even any kind of cases, then
Things
I
they
don't know.
wouldn't be sold. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I
they
know
would have been
there's
debunked or something. I don't know.
I mean, I know there's certain things like laptops, like putting laptops on your lap for men. I've heard that one
Yeah,
before, like the battery radiation, but
Yeah.
I feel like there'd be
Well, I
kind
think
of
it's
like Homer
also the
says,
heat.
because of me, there's a warning.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I also
There-
feel it's not necessarily the radiation, but also the heat that the laptop gives off. You're
Yeah.
cooking stuff
Could
down
be.
there.
yeah.
That's why the hot tub is not a great idea, because it's like 130 degrees and now you're cooking yourself.
Yeah. But that's my favorite Homer line though. Whenever I see something like out in public where there's a warning for something, I'm like, this is the stupidest warning in the world. Who would do that? And then my brain immediately goes to, well, because of me, there's a warning.
Yeah.
So, all right, final thoughts. We'll start with you, Simpson Man. Do you remember a rating scale, or do we got to go through it for you?
Say it again. Was it 1 through 4?
One through five. So we got
Okay.
one is a doe, two is a don't have a cow man, three is
No. No,
sorry,
2 is eating my shorts.
eat my shorts, three is don't have a cow man, four is sprinkles, and five is everything's coming up Millhouse.
I think last time I did the same with the sprinkles one for 4, because this wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't categorize this on like in even like a top 20 or anything for me, but it was like a really good episode, because I still think that the first 8 to 10 seasons are just pretty much all gold in their own way. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Did they do another episode with this like all put together, or was this it? This is the last Herb Howell, or not? I mean, like the last saga for him.
Yeah, I can't remember another Herb Powell episode.
Because I mean, unless they did them on
surprised.
maybe they did it on one of the newer ones, and I think I've seen all the newer ones also, but then we had watched like season like 23 or 24 the other day on Disney, and I was like, I don't remember any of these. So I don't think that I would have. I feel like I would have heard about it by now, but
Yeah,
like,
I think
what
that's
happened. Like Herb got poor, and then that's it, and then he got rich, and then he's like, all right, see ya.
Yeah, I feel like Herb would have been a more of a staple. No, okay, so where's he living?
Don't forget, Herb is a guest voice.
Well,
Danny DeVito is a very busy man.
Yeah, but he's still around. That's the thing.
That's the big thing. Yeah,
I understand. Like if he passed away or something, then obviously we can't do that. We don't. But I feel like
Honestly,
unless
if
there was
Danny
some kind
DeVito
of weird
passed-
animosity or something.
Well, if Danny DeVito passes away within the next 2 years, I guarantee you The Simpsons will do a Herb Powell episode where they bury him.
Maybe
that'd be kind of interesting. But I mean, I feel like at this point, so Herb gets rich. I mean, I guess who wants to live in Springfield? But I mean, he could go live on the same block with Kent Brockman and Mr. Burns and have a yacht. And I feel like they could have made him a staple of The Simpsons. I mean, look at 92. Okay, so we had Batman Returns come out. So, I mean, Danny DeVito was starting to get, big with playing the Penguin. And I don't know, I feel like he could have done a recurring, like, okay, look at Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer's a big actor. He comes back once a year, every, couple of years to do Sideshow Bob. I feel like
maybe The Simpsons just didn't want to do Herb Powell anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I feel like
there's a whole story there though. Like, I think you had mentioned or somewhere that they don't talk about this the baby not translator anymore. So
yeah,
you figured they would have maybe thrown a blurb in it somewhere from the last what was it 25, 6, 7, 8 seasons they had since then up until now. 30 seasons for 3. Then it was season 3. So trying to do math here, but so that, and then the fact that Herb is his brother.
Yeah.
So there has to be something going on. Like Danny DeVito must have been like, "You didn't pay me enough. I'm not doing this." Or that would be very interesting to try to find out from one of the writers.
Yeah, because I mean, even look at it like this. Remember how happy Abe was to find out that he had a rich, kid?
Oh, yeah.
Like they could have done a whole nother episode with Grandpa being like, getting involved or, welcoming him back or, I mean, there's definitely story there. And
or they might have thought it might have been too much. Almost like with certain movies, they're just like, all right, it ended. Everything ended again. Like this time it ended on a happy note. Are we really going to make a third one and then reopen a whole weird story? Because then what happens? Like Herb is either broke again or he's just rich and they visit him for some reason. Like there's nothing really. I feel like maybe they could have like maybe the Simpsons are watching TV and they see him on a commercial and then or something like that, you know. But like
yeah,
maybe I can kind of understand now talking about it why they didn't do it.
Yeah. All right. For me, I think I'm kind of with you. I think sprinkles. It definitely. I love when characters do come back. I love voice actors. I mean, between Danny DeVito and John Lovitz for all their his cameos. I mean, it's just fun to kind of bring something back and give you a new take and find out, hey, Homer's long lost brother ended up being a bum. And, Homer made him rich again. He basically made up for the Homer.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this episode really didn't need a B story. There wasn't anything, sidewise, which was nice. I mean, I'm glad they focused all their attention on Herb and Herb coming back. I mean, it did have not an odd beginning, but it definitely had a beginning where it started one way and finished a different way, but it flowed really well. It wasn't a wild goose chase opening and then turned into something completely different. It flowed really well between the characters. I mean, this is I'm glad they did this as a season finale. I don't know if it would have functioned as well as the season opener.
Probably not.
I don't think bringing back an old character in the first episode of a season is well thought out. I think it's good for an ending or second to last episode of a season. So I think they did a really good job on it.
Yeah, I absolutely enjoy this episode. Danny DeVito coming back as Herb Powell. You get some pretty good sight gags. Finding out Homer's sterile again, I guess. All these different jokes. The Mickey Mouse thing that the bum said is hilarious. And as Steve said, I agree. I don't know if this would have been a great season opener, but it definitely is a great season finale. I wouldn't put it in a top 20 like The Simpsons Man. It's a very good episode. I'm also going to go for sprinkles. It is very enjoyable. It's one that I always like seeing pop up whenever I'm watching reruns. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's finish it off with another character profile. And this week, we have the nearly insane Professor Frink. His profession, mad scientist. Now, I mean, I think that's hit or miss. I think he's a decent scientist, although he does come up with things like hamburger earmuffs and baby planes. So maybe you could put him in the mad scientist category, but I think he kind of means well. I feel like most mad scientists are out to get people, but he tries to make things, for the greater good.
Yeah.
His appearance, tousled hair, thick glasses, and a white smock. Until he drinks Homer's nerve tonic, and then he has the slick back hair and cool look. His voice tilt, annoying.
Vocal lilt.
Vocal lilt. Wow, where did I get that?
I have no idea.
His shortcomings, creates inventions that never work properly.
Yeah.
Ever. We'll put a pin in that. We're gonna look at all of his inventions and see which ones might hit the top charts of could have been functional.
Correct.
Past flubs. Constructed robots to protect Mr. Burns that turned violent toward the boss and exploded.
I feel like we've gotten to that episode yet.
No, not yet. That was a good episode. Blew up Moe's Tavern while attempting to strike a comet, plunging towards Springfield.
I love this episode. I can't wait to get to it.
Accidentally flew a radio-controlled, gas-powered plane carrying his own child through a window.
Which we saw through in this episode.
Yep. I don't know if you should ever put your kid on a gas-powered remote-control airplane.
No.
So, all right. Well, Simpsons Man, this has been fun.
Yep.
we're glad to have you back, and if you're okay with it, we'll have you back for more fun.
Oh, for sure.
So why don't you finish it off? Tell everyone where they can find you and plug anything new you might have.
You can find me if you just want to search the Simpsons Man on Instagram. I should be one of the first things that come up when it comes to that. And also, I have a YouTube channel called the Simpsons Man TV. And me and my daughter, we just actually dropped a new video today, and maybe in a few weeks or so you'll see it. But I do new videos every Monday, and I have a store called thesimpsonsman.com that has all sorts of weird, random Simpsons goodies.
Yeah, it's amazing. And all your wood gear, your wood stuff is awesome.
Yep.
And I was actually thinking of one for you. I don't know if you've made it yet, but when we did the Colonel Homer one, we were like, it takes two to lie, one to lie and one to listen. I don't know if you've made that one yet, but no. that one would be awesome.
I'd get that. I'd buy it.
That's a good sign, because I have, like, people tell me, ideas all the time, so I've always written them down on my phone, and now I'm to the point that I have to scroll through my notes, and I probably have like 100 different sayings that are just, because there's just, you watch any episode from the first 10 or 12 seasons, and I would think maybe 5 parts of that episode is like, oh, there's another one, like just funny quotes that any of the characters would say.
Yeah, that was good. I'd like to hang that one on my wall.
Yeah.
Most families, I feel like, could hang that one on their wall.
Yep.
All right, so you could find us, the Simpsons Did It podcast, everywhere your podcast is heard. If you guys listen on Apple Podcasts, make sure to give us 5 stars and a review. It really helps us out, and we love knowing what everyone thinks. You can find us on Instagram, the Simpsons Did It Pod, on Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC. Feel free to head over to Simpsons Did It Pod, Buy Me a Coffee, /Simpsons Did It Pod, to donate to our amazing podcast, and your donations help us do merch. Currently, all we got are stickers, and the Simpsons Man will be sure to send you out some of our awesome new stickers.
Awesome.
You can find us on YouTube. We put all of our back episodes on YouTube, so you guys check out that if you guys listen to all your stuff on YouTube. Just search the Simpsons Did It podcast for the present moment, because we don't have a /. So until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.